Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here tonight for F1 22 action. It is Season 9, it's Division 1, it's Round 6 of the Championship, as we take in the United States Grand Prix, of course, from Austin, Texas, at the Circuit of the Americas. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking to the stream, of course, as always, on this fine Saturday evening. Hope you are all doing very well. Mr. Mark Aldridge, of course, will be alongside me in the commentary box. He hasn't got his mic on just yet, isn't in the party just yet, but I'm sure he will be, as, of course, we go through tonight in the United States Grand Prix. And after what was an absolute domination drive from Slippery Cucumber, we can expect a lot more overtaking, at least tonight, and hopefully a lot more action out on track as well. And the Canadian, of course, absolutely came alive. My first time seeing him racing, and my god, did he make an impression. Of course, he won the Monaco Grand Prix by 28 seconds in the end, which is just phenomenal. Campbell in the end just couldn't keep up, finishing in second. Third position for Gary, who remarkably got a podium out of all of that mess as well in Monaco. In the end, we saw some good overtakes up the hill, especially in towards Massenet, and of course, we're going to see hopefully more to come tonight in the United States, as we have got a three-way championship fight at this stage. But before we do go on to that three-way championship fight, I have been told by Mr. Alp there in the commentators chat, at least, old school saying it'll be 2 minutes, which is fine. Alp sent me a DM a little bit earlier on saying would we raise awareness of what is happening currently in Turkey and indeed in Syria as well, and that is of course of the tragic earthquakes that happened 2 weeks ago, I think now. So bad, the situation. I think 45,000 people dead, many others injured, many others homeless as well. I think it was the UN reported 24 million, I think, displaced by the earthquakes as well in both Turkey and Syria. And honestly, it breaks my heart. It really does break my heart. I wouldn't wish on anybody to be involved in an earthquake, in any type of that situation. And yeah, he said to me the situation is very bad. Would we raise awareness? Yes, we would. And yeah, it is. Turkey and Syria especially need help, I think, at this point. The countries are suffering, their people are suffering, and unfortunately it comes to us in the West and to aid agencies and to volunteer agencies as well to actually help about the raising awareness and raising the subject up, certainly in a commentary like this, which is just a little minute thing to do, but it is really good, I think, to go through, obviously, that. And I have got a link that I'm going to put into the chat as well to just raise a bit more awareness of. If I can actually copy it, that would be brilliant. But I will put it in the comment section just for you guys to, if you do want to donate. It is a very difficult situation, of course, over here with the cost of living crisis and everything. But if you do want to donate, you can click on the link there. It's one of the leading volunteer organisations there in Turkey, and they, of course, will be really grateful for anything that you can give, as well as partner agencies. I know the Disasters Emergency Appeal as well is obviously up and coming, but yeah, it is a tragic situation. They will be forever in our thoughts. As Mr. Mark Aldridge, you have joined me in the comment box. How are you doing?
I'm good. Obviously, I missed last week due to filling in on D3. But yeah, looking forward to this. This is a track I love this track. I think it's good for racing. There's a bit of strategy. There's a bit of variance in people's setups. There's going to be some very high downforce setups, some fairly low downforce setups, I would assume. Yeah, I like this one. This one's a bit more my bag rather than the ribbon that we were running around last week, which was the hell ribbon, as I would probably call it. But yeah, it was. This one should make for more of a sporting occasion rather than a survival occasion.
Oh yeah, definitely. We should see a lot of overtaking. We should hopefully see some really good action out on track as well. Not like Monaco. Yes, we did see him moves around the outside and down the inside of Massenet and Casino Square, which was brilliant. But they were short. They were short-lived, really, the battles around in Monaco. Here, though, a proper racing track, you are going to get racing, and with Slippery Cucumber out of the fold as well. It seems tonight, certainly. Is he in the lobby yet? I don't know. I'm not sure if he's even racing tonight. I know Rocco is down there at the bottom, but of course he won by 28 seconds in the end last week, which was just unheard of in Division 1 standards. It makes Montana look like an absolute mug, for example, in Monaco, certainly. But it was so dominant honestly, it really impressed me. Hopefully he's racing tonight because he has got an outside chance of the title. But, as I was saying, driver standings, a little bit earlier on, we have got 6 points covering the top 3 drivers, and that's Selly in the lead on 72 points, Campbell in second on 69, and Alp in third on 66 points. Campbell, of course, came off second best last week in Monaco. Selly, in the end, drove a real remarkable recovery drive to finish in fourth. Alp finished further down the field after hitting his front wing, I think, off the wall a couple of times and ending up down the field. Jensen with the DNF as well. He's still on 44 points. He's back here tonight, hopefully looking for retribution. Gary in fifth on 36. Unbelievably picked up a podium last week, which I don't get how. Wouter in sixth on 36. Izzer in seventh on 34. Nathan in eighth on 33. And then Rick and Yilbream tied for ninth on 27 points. And looking at those championship standings, of course, Mark, we're just about to get into qualifying, I think. Selly out on top, 72 points, but it is a very, very concise and consistent battle between the top 3. You've got Campbell there, you've got Alp there as well. Who's actually going to come out on top tonight out of those 3?
Oh, that's put me on the spot. I would. Do you know what? I'm kind of rooting for Alp. I feel like I have a feeling he might go well today. I've got a feeling he's gonna secure the win, but I don't know. It's gonna be. I'm not sure if Selly's here actually.
He is.
Oh no, Selly is here. Yeah, sorry, at the top. Yeah, you know, these 3 are kind of a bit of a class, but also Jensen, who I'm pretty sure was qualified for esports challengers. Well, he's certainly sure anyway. So congratulations to him. Maybe he's going to have a bit of a, you know, an upward curve, because he's certainly got the ability. But you kind of pointed this out to me, and I never really noticed it before. You commentated on him in a lot of other places. He's hot and cold, isn't he? He's either in the front 2 or he's working a way to destroy his race. Normally his own race as well. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say Alp. I'll go for Alp. But it could be anybody really. I'm really intrigued to see these setups. I'm going to have a little look at the speed traps in quali. I think that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So we have got Packer back tonight as well, resident American. So we have got, I believe, 2 Americans actually. We've got Alp, who's a Turk American, and also Mr. Packer, who is back tonight as well. He was expecting bottom half of the field potentially, so out of the points in other words. So hopefully he can try and recover some sort of that form. And as you mentioned there, Jensen, yeah, definitely hot and cold. He has qualified for F1 Esports Challengers, so congratulations to him. One of the best guys, I think, on the PS platform. But then again, Rudy also apparently qualified for the Challengers as well. He's no longer here after those absolute shenanigans in Austria last season, which will forever go down in LOE history as probably one of the worst driving performances I've ever seen, certainly. That man has qualified and also won the PSGL F1 Championship a couple of weeks ago as well. Looking through the comments, by the way, I hope you are doing very well indeed. Alp saying good afternoon, congrats Selly. So I wonder if Selly might be the one to be here in qualifying. And Montana as well saying LOE bingo tonight. Alp gets a shocking start. Matt spins at least once. Nathan gets more than 9 seconds worth of penalties, and Jensen bottles qualifying. And if you get any of those right, take a shot on me. There you go.
It's going to be a good one. This one, I've got a lot of confidence for this to be a good race. I'm wondering if weather's going to play a factor. Doesn't look to be from what I've seen. And one thing this has reminded me of is that I've been practicing very limited amounts, but also in midday. And this race is not at midday. The light glares at you on that last corner. So I've just got a bit of internal regret that I haven't been a bit more diligent with racing at the right time of day. And there we are.
Yeah, honestly, turn 12. Just close your eyes when we're going down the back straight, because I believe this is unofficial. I think it's unofficial, and if it is, just close your eyes down the back straight, because I was commentating around here on Tuesday in FRL, which is a little league that I do on a Tuesday, and honestly, the glare on the sun was something else. I literally nearly got blinded by it just coming through on a lap with somebody. It was horrible to witness, and hopefully nobody's going to witness that for the sake of your eyes and the sake of everyone's eyes here. Hopefully we won't witness that. Packer is the first man out on track. He'll be looking, of course, to try and get up the field because obviously he's an American, and obviously he hasn't been here the last couple of weeks as well, so he's the first man out on track. It does look, however, and I'm just going to ride on board with Packer to confirm this, it does look like we've got a different time of day, which is good.
There's apparently rain in the race.
Oh,
to Montana. which will make things even more interesting setup wise. I don't think Packer's very confident here as the lead man. I think he's fighting.
Oh my god! Oh Jesus Christ! The sun glare is literally so bad down the straight.
It actually looks like there's like a fire at the end of the straight, doesn't it? It looks like a massive fire, and you can't see anything. It's we've gone a bit mad with the maybe I don't know, there's ray tracing or whatever. I don't know what the fancy terminology is, but it's it's bright out there. I might stick on my shades and look like a complete moron inside my house.
Well, put it this way, as The Weeknd once said, we're blinded by the light, and that's exactly what we are blinded by, especially coming through turn 16, 17 and 18. Even into the final quarter it is that bad, and look at that, it's just the glare. I've got a really bright television, but that sun is brighter than my television, and that's giving it a good run for its money. Packer, also going to give it a good run for its money, on the run down in towards turn number 1, up the hill of course in towards turn number 1. It's about a 40-metre gradation change up the hill in towards turn number 1 here. So Packer reaches turn number 1, reaches the curve very nicely indeed, to the left-hander of 1, now down the right-hander of turn number 2, and then mirroring the Japan S's, the centre S's, we go through turns 3, 4, count them up as we go along, 5, and then through the right-hander of turn number 6, and that looked actually pretty neat from Packer, and a 25.2 in the first sector is not wholly that bad whatsoever at all. He now comes to the right-hander of 8, then to the left-hander of 9, Charles Leclerc in free practice 1, I believe it was Top Gun moment coming through there, down in towards turn 11 now, it's the left-hander going on to the back straight. Close your eyes at this point because we're in for one wild and wacky ride. Goodness me, that is terrifying on the run down the straight. But Packer has looked pretty good so far. He's even using up a little bit of ERS down the straight just to try and consolidate that speed. 195 mile an hour into the braking zone of turn number 12, and looking very, very neat, I've got to say, Packer on this lap. Might have not really been predicted towards the top end of the field. I think this is looking like a top tier time at this stage from Packer, coming out through the left-hander of turn number 15, and again, the glares of the sun really do my head in, quite literally, as he nearly spins the car coming out of 15, through the right-handers of Verstappen corner at 16, 17, and then through the right-hander of turn 18, you get a little bit of a glare, a little bit of a break from the sun, through the left-hander of 19, and then through the left-hander of turn number 20, and now we finish this lap with Packer on the run to line, 32.4 I think? Oh, 32.7, well off.
Yeah, I think the top guys may get in the 31s, would be my prediction. I would imagine there will be a couple of times in the 31s, realistically.
Yeah, I'm just round about with this act as well, coming to the middle sector. There's many drivers that have actually invalidated, I think, ahead. Certainly Jensen had invalidated through the first sector. I think he backed off in the middle as Campbell goes quickest now with a 32.5. Is that, though, looking to be up there as Verstappen, his teammate, Packer's teammate, I should say, goes there in third. Currently a QVR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a photo, it'll probably last longer as that now comes up the hill into the left-hander of turn number 20 through the final corner on the run to the line. Might actually split the pair, he doesn't. He splits the pairings of the Alpine as well, so there goes second with a 132.5. And Nathan on the lap as well, he's normally quite quick around here, he might be one of the favourites for pole position. Looking through the first sector split, it's a 25.2, just 100th of a second clear compared to Packer's lap time in the first sector. J. Cole about to finish up his lap as well, and Selly through the middle sector is invalidated. So Selly, 106.6 in the middle sector, has invalidated, but Campbell out on top way to second. Gary there in third, Packer there in fourth. J. Cole has also, I think, backed off his lap. He's certainly going to be in trouble because of an Aston Martin. Darry, I think that is just on his lap.
Nathan is getting slip from Campbell there. That was quite a handy slip. It wasn't perfect, but that would have gained him at least a 10th, I think. So these guys really working together. I love to see it with teammates, but not anyone else's. 32-2, yeah. And that's the first walk. That's the first real shot of the barrel for Powell, I think.
Yeah, 3.5 tons clear of Campbell. Campbell's given slipstream, which in effect will gain an extra 0.3 of a second. Not like that though with Nathan. Catches the bump through 16. That is going to be him, I think, back into the pit lane potentially. Still going actually on this lap. He's definitely not going to go pole, I don't think. Through the final corner on the run to the line. And yeah, Wolof, he goes second though, to respectful time. A bit of a twitch coming out of 16. Got caught basically too much on the curb, as somebody has, certainly through turns 15 there. Nathan though goes second, 32.4. Might be one of the favourites as a safe pole position, as is this man here. But Selly, once again, is invalidated on his lap. So the Austrian, the championship leader, down in 20th position so far, not looking as strong as what we might like to make be. Jensen as well, just backing up onto a lap. He's coming back in the pit lane, so Jensen try to go again. He's back into the pit lane. Yildirim as well, believe he's finishing on a run. The relentless man coming through the left-hander of turn number 20 on the run to the line. This is actually looking a good lap from Yildirim. To the line, goes 5th, 32.6 respectable, but it's Albert on top. Nathan there in second, Campbell in third. And so far, so good from Alp's perspective, but we have got Selly still to get onto a lap, or still to actually set a lap time. Nathan as well, trying to iron out those mistakes. Could be a quite close qualifying session.
Absolutely, and Darry's done a time that I would be disappointed with. So he must be very disappointed with it. It must have been a mistake in there at some point. But yeah, Selly's going again. So he's really keen to get a banker in, and I don't necessarily. Maybe he's could be a bit like me in one sense. Obviously, he's incredibly quicker than me, but I work so much better with having a delta to run to. So I'd rather have any time on the board, just to make my second and third runs have a comparable, really. So I suspect that's what he's doing it for. It's certainly not going to. Well, if he gets pole with 3-lap-old softs, fair play, but I don't think that's really his goal. I think it's just probably to get something to work towards.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly he's got a very high fuel load, I think, on that car. He certainly hasn't been in the pit lane just yet that I've seen. So he's got a high fuel load on, so he's going lap after lap after lap. And I wonder, because forward thinking, with the rain obviously going to be in the race, I wonder if he wants to try and get rid of these set of soft compound tyres in qualifying, and then he doesn't have to actually go on to them in the race. That might be what he's actually trying to do with this. He's certainly got a high fuel load. He's coming through the left-handed turn number 12. Has looked quite respectful though on this lap, and it's a 102.6 in the middle sector. Has a bit of a lag spike through 14 there, but now the fuel light comes on, this will be a hit, I think, him back into the pit lane. If not, he's going to be getting in the way of everyone that's on an outlap.
Yeah. As Matt is coming around, he's also kind of trying to set a lap. The guys at the bottom are 4 non-laps. I mean, you could probably count Darby's as a non-lap. Realistically, there must have been a big mistake there. It's a horrible track to not have a time on the board. Any time is really just helpful because you just start to worry. It's so easy to invalidate in Sector 1. So incredibly easy. So many corners you can do it on. And also Sector 3, the last 2 corners can definitely do it to you as well.
Yeah, turn 17, the little bump basically in the road through Verstappen corner, where I call it, as I'm on board with Campbell through turn number 2. That obviously catches people out. The track limits, I think they're only getting monitored at turns 9 and 19, if I'm not mistaken. And there's certainly more, from my perspective, as Campbell goes quickest in the first sector, 25.2, through that part of the lap. And Alpha Tauri is completely in the way. I think that's Alp ahead of him. I think it is Alp ahead of him. Getting out of the way to the left-hand side. Campbell, though, looking good in this lap, but look at the amount of traffic. And look who's just coming past now. Nathan, right in front of him, running up the hill in towards turn number 12, and there's also another bit of slip going on. I think it's the Alpines that are doing a bit of slip. Packer and Verstappen. I think Verstappen is actually on a lap, so those are doing a bit of slipstream training. Campbell doing the same as well with Nathan's. The Ferraris and the Alpines have certainly got the right strategy in mind. 1 and 2.1 in the middle sector is very good from Campbell. Now, Nathan made that mistake coming through turn number 16. If he irons out that, we should see Campbell towards second position here. He's certainly not going to go close to Alp, but he's certainly going to go close to his teammate, if not pass him with a 132.3, I think.
Yeah, I think as long as he doesn't mess this up, it's hard to know with that corner. Unless you see a delta, it's such a hard corner to judge. He should be second.
Ooh. Ooh, wow, that's a lot closer than I was expecting.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be a solid 10th, but no, really good lap.
Really strong lap. Sully, by the way, has got lap time on the board, 33.1, which was his third run, actually, on that set of soft compound tyres. Montano, actually, making a very interesting point. Apparently, he's been given a wet setup, so that might be why he's down in 11th position at this stage.
Yeah, this is it. You just... there's going to be all sorts of shenanigans going on here with setups. Even more so, it's something I was looking forward to anyway. How can I see speed traps as a spectator? Can I? I don't know if I can.
I don't know.
When you're in the race, you can. You can see speed traps in the pit, you know, in the main menu. But I don't think I can, which is quite a shame actually.
It'd be really good. I think that might be one of the graphical improvements that they might make to spectator mode for the F1 23 game. That speed traps and loads of new graphics coming up on our end, which is good. AlphaTauris, by the way, are doing the same strategy. Matthias has given Alp a bit of slipstream. Alp was only 300s down in the first sector, and again, he looked pretty crystal clear on that lap. Now, of course, Campbell got within a tenth of a second, and in fact, 200ths of a second behind him. Oh, as Alp catches the curb at turn number 12. 101.9 on the middle sector, still not too bad. It's purple in the middle sector from the AlphaTauri man, and with 2/3 of qualifying gone, 6 minutes left, out there on top, Campbell there in second, Nathan there in third, and out now looking to try and master the American track here through the right-hander turn 18, then through the left-hander, upcoming towards turn number 19, gets really on the power, coming out of turn 19, beautifully done by Alp. This might even go 31s potentially, out through the final corner, on the run to the line, and it's a 131.9. He really found a lot of time in that final sector. And now, once again, says to the field, you've got to try and catch up somehow.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that's kind of making me laugh here is the Alfa Romeos. I'm almost certain they might not be in a party together. Maybe. Obviously, Rick, former organiser of LOE, knows J. Cole quite well. But they're not giving each other slipstream. So... yeah, feel for those lads, because pretty much everyone else, I think, is probably doing it to a degree.
Gilbream going 5th there. Didn't improve on his lap time, but it was a 132.650. It's only 400ths of a second off. White, however, does improve. Doesn't improve in terms of his position, but he did improve in terms of his lap time. About a tenth of a second found there from Whiter. 132.5 dead on. Izzard, I think, had a moment through turn 15. He certainly ran out of fuel, so that was why the yellow flags were out in that sector. Pack is invalidated, Slash is invalidated. J. Cole, as you mentioned, just starting up on a lap. And Selly as well is another one that is going to start on the lap. And now I'm going to flick my attention onto him because he is the championship leader. Currently there, 133.1. If he has got a full wet setup on, then I imagine he's not going to go anywhere close to out. But, and it's the big but, if Selly has got a dry setup on and he's using really good wings, really good downforce setup, Selly should go, I think, second. He certainly hasn't got his teammate to help him. Jensen's on the other side of the track. I think he's actually just preparing up for a lap. But Selly now, coming through the right-hander turn number 2, he actually needs this lap. Otherwise, he's going to be starting well down the field like he did when he crashed out of qualifying in Monaco last week.
Yeah, and it's not a fun track if you're running higher wings than everyone else as well, potentially. It's such a hard track to overtake. You're going to have to do it through some pretty sketchy sections. So we'll either see potentially a complete slam dunk drive of the day performance or the opposite, I suspect. I don't think there'll be too much middle ground. I can't see him coming 7th, put it that way.
Yeah, his first sector actually was not too bad. 25-2 in the first sector is up there with the likes of Pack and the likes of Izzat through the first sector. This is now defining. Middle sector and especially final sector are career defining around here in America. And Sadie through the final couple of corners in the middle sector, 2.5 tenths up. It's more like it. He doesn't seem at home with his car though, I've got to be honest. Coming through the end of the first sector, he really seemed a little bit timid to try and go for the power. And again, throughout the 15, goes timid on the power just to try and get a bit of traction coming out the corner. But this is not a good lap from Selly by any stretch of the imagination. This is the championship leader we're talking about. He needs to put on a champion's performance, ideally. He's run out of fuel, as afflicted Rick by mistake. Apologies about that. Selly now on the run to the line. That's more like it. Third position, big final sector, 32.3. But he had no slipstream on that lap. With slipstream included, I would gain another 3/10 out of that. So he's still not on par with Alp.
Absolutely. I reckon his Sector 3 will be... In fact, I'm going to have a little check to see how quick was his Sector 3, because I would assume 29.9 compared to Alps, which also was 29.9, but Campbell's 30 flat. So, yeah, definitely an indicator he's running higher wings.
Yeah, more downforce, I think, is certainly... Matthias, by the way, has just started, I think, on a run down there in 20th position. nearly still on his way out the car over to turn number 2 as well. Now through the left-handers of 3, 4, 5 and 6. 140.208. Probably the sort of my time that I'd certainly be setting around here in this field. Darry as well hasn't came out the pit lane. Obviously feeling that he can't really improve, I don't think. And with a minute and a half to go, both Aston Martins, or one of them at least, your own, is still in the pit lane. But now they're beginning to leave the pits. But it's going to be very late indeed for that. Matthias, I think, is out of sync towards everyone else. So this is why we're on board with him at this stage. Jensen, by the way, did get a valid lap time in. 7th position, 132.6. And the AlphaTauris now really beginning to give the slipstream once again back. And Matthias really needs this. He needs to try and go, I would say, around Packer, Rocco, Slash, that sort of area. 32.8, 32.9. That will really be mid-pack, I think, form from Matthias. Through the middle sector, 102.3, exactly where he wants to be through the middle sector. Looking much, much neater, much, much tidier. And now coming through turn 15, this is actually a good lap for Matthias, as long as he stayed clean in the final sector. As soon as I say that, he spins.
To be fair, I was thinking when Alp was giving him slipstream, Alp could probably just give him a slip round the whole place. He's got about second pace on Matt, so just drag him with you the whole way. Yeah, he's gonna be pretty annoyed at that, and also that probably puts them out of sync.
It does put them out of sync, and yeah, Matthias, I thought was coming in the back lane there, but he's not. He's actually backed off his lap. Out the out on top, Campbell in second, Selly there in third. I think Campbell's just improved there, 32 flat. 32.099 certainly did improve because he has backed off on this run, so he did go second. Selly fell 3/10 off. Nathan has spun through the final corner. This is next up in validation. I think was him actually improving on a run, but he has lost his front wing, and that is him done at the qualifying session as well. Wouter through the first sector. Let's see what his first sector split is like in the Williams. It's Al Campbell Selly as Darry has picked up a 5-place grid penalty. Wouter though on par through the first sector. 25.2 in the first sector, not looking too bad. But Verstappen and Darry certainly picking up a 5-place grid penalty for colliding with Verstappen, which I'm guessing happened through the final couple of corners.
Yeah, that's very bizarre. Do you know what? Matt has really messed up here, because not only did he mess his lap up, he's also messed up the opportunity to give Alp slip. So that was a double blow, that spin, because now Alp's got to do it by himself. But, unbelievably, he's quicker.
Yeah, he is finding time. It's 400th of a second up coming to the left-hand with turn 15. Looking very, very tiny coming through there. This is the pole lap right here. Even if he doesn't, I don't think nobody's going to go close. Gary, by the way, went fourth ahead of Nathan, so not a bad lap there at all from him. The AlphaTauri now through the final couple of corners. And this man really does need it. From what stress he's been going through in the last 2 weeks and what his country's been going through, that is pole position. 131.8. It's never in that. It's Alp out on top. Campbell in second, unless somebody's got a jet-propelled, literally a jetpack up the rear end of their cars. White doesn't improve with a 32.5. Yildirim is improving to the line. Doesn't go close. He did improve on his lap time, though. But I think, in the end, as Packer goes for full-on spin through 10.15 as well, Alp comfortably out on top from Campbell in second, Selly in third. 2.5 tenths per second to Campbell. And the top three are championship contenders. But Alp has just made this qualifying session look pretty easy.
He has, as Matt got a bit of a glory run in there, and he will be 19. He would have been 19th anyway due to Darry's pen. So Darry's penalty has cost him precisely 0 places, but he starts from the back.
Yeah, he does start from the back of the field indeed, but it is Alp out on top, Campbell there in second, Sally there in third. And the top three, as I say, in the championship, Izzat has been given a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. And where is that out on track? Is that coming across? Oh my god, it's coming through final couple of corners, through the middle sector, that was. Illegal blocking. So I have a feeling we're going to be having a restart potentially in terms of... Certainly Izzat picking up that 5-place grid penalty. Of course, he's not going to start 14th. He is going to start 9th. Of course, I'm assuming we're going to restart. I'm assuming that communication will go out very soon. But Alp out on top from Campbell in second. Sully there in third with Gary in fourth. Nathan there in fifth. Wouter in sixth. Yildirim in seventh. Jensen there in eighth. Izzat will start 9th. Slash there in 10th. J. Cole in 11th. Then Pease in 12th. Rocco 13th. Packer there in 14th. Then running through the rest of the field, of course, we have Killer in 15th, Rick in 16th, Verstappen in 17th, Jeroen there in 18th, Matthias there in 19th, and then Darry, of course, he picked up a 5-place grid penalty. It doesn't really affect him there at all. He is down there right at the back of the field. Your own saying no restart, P saying no restart, Kill also soon ruins the setups, and if we have got a full wet race, they've actually got a good point.
It's a really, really interesting point. Like, real tough one for the organisers. I can see both sides.
Oh my god! Oh no! It is full wet conditions. I can guarantee that on track. And yeah, it is going to be very interesting. Verstappen, that was left the session, that I'm assuming is going to have a restart. Yeah. We haven't been told. I certainly haven't got a communication about that. Oh no, we have. Yeah, Verstappen saying restart. So yeah, we're going to have a restart, which means I'm going to leave the session before it kicks me out. And that means, of course, you get to see my lovely backing screen, potentially. But in terms of that qualifying session, of course, Alp out on top. And in the end, the three championship contenders are split by 5.5 tenths per second. And that just come to show, I think, Alp running potentially near enough a full dry setup. Everyone else going half-half and then full wet setups. I know there was a few in the comment section and Discord saying that they were on full wet setups. And that meant Alp had that domination factor in qualifying, but like so many times we've seen this season, will he get that good start? Because I have a feeling he probably won't.
No, he for some reason he can't start the car, which is a bit crazy. I might as well leave. I don't know. I'm still in this lobby. I'm just sat there watching the rain. I really feel for this. Happened to me once, and I remember being particularly annoyed. It is frustrating, but it's such a catch-22. I mean, one thing I would argue, maybe this is why the leagues potentially. Maybe there could be a rule in which is, look, if you have a weird thing happen to you in the quali and it's changeable conditions, that's the only time you don't restart. But that's very easy for me to say at this point, sat here. But that could be a thing, maybe. But it's just ridiculous that the game somehow runs into each other and causes pens. But yeah, it's one of many foibles that this game has.
Yeah, definitely. So I was just having a look, by the way, if anybody was watching the stream there, I was just having a look at the F1 esports leaderboard and see where people are out of LOE. And Jensen is in 10th position currently as I look there. So if he's qualified for esports challenges, I think he has in the first round. Obviously we'll get confirmation about that, but he's currently in 10th in Abu Dhabi, which is of course Verstappen Hamilton 2021 being reborn on the F1 22 game, which is not ideal whatsoever because we don't want to see that. It's certainly going to be qualifying, but I think down the F1 esports route they need to bring us. I've got the invites now into the lobby. I think honestly F1 esports need to become more centralised around leagues and use league racing as a qualifier for F1 esports. And there you get the best drivers. There you get the best drivers with the best racecraft as well. And nobody then can go through the time trial format, basically, which is what I think F1 esports qualifying actually is at this stage. And before anybody asks, no, I'm not going to try and put in F1 esports. I'm on a pad. I've probably got absolutely no chance. I'll probably come like 10,000th out of everyone else. And yeah, but I think, honestly, it needs to become more centralised around league racing. Whether or not that happens, whether or not PSGL say, oh yeah, we've got like 4 wildcards for the challenges. And the top form PSF1, for example, qualify as a result of that. I think that would be absolutely fantastic to go forward. I'm not sure what you guys think in the chat, but certainly I think it needs to become more league racing centralised.
I would say that, and I hope this doesn't happen because I know it probably actually happened Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays really affected this league, but why not copy the Gran Turismo method? You know, have the daily races. They have the weekly events. They have that format there already. Create that kind of ecosystem, you know, where everyone gets put in a lobby according to abilities. You score points according to what lobby you're in and the difficulty of the lobby. Have a top split outside of leagues, that then do 6 races or whatever over the course of a day, 10, 20, however you want to do. Do it that way. Something similar to the world finals and Gran Turismo, which I'm a big fan of that format, but that would be a bit controversial because a few leagues would get pretty affected.
Yeah, I think you're going to basically pee anyone off either way you do it, really. And even down the league racing centralised route, it's going to have a big knock-on effect for smaller leagues like your LOEs, like as well your FRLs, like other leagues that you might be in as well. HOR I know is a one that Jensen and everyone's in here as well. And even team events, EML, could become absolutely washed as well in terms of what we're getting there, in terms of obviously F1 esports. But it really needs to be a platform, I think, for the best drivers. I mean, you not to be dishonest to Rudy, you've got somebody in with Rudy who basically absolutely butchered the whole field here in LOE Division 1, then went on to win the PSGL F1 title by a point, and then somehow is in F1 Esports Challenges, which I don't get. And people like that, who are very, very capable drivers, don't get me wrong, they're very, very capable drivers, but when they don't have the racecraft, that is the main concern, I think. And sometimes you do get people. I know Schumacher was in there, the famous Schumacher moment in, I think was it PSGL Monaco, I'm tempted to say. That brought absolute wonder about the league racing community. Basically brought hell on in the league racing community. But drivers like Rudy, drivers like your Jensens as well, who's out of form at this stage in league racing. If scouts were from 10 of the esports or all 10 of the esports teams, and they were actually watching tonight, and they realised that Jensen is out of form, they probably wouldn't actually select him.
Yeah, I'm amazed at some of the ways that people qualify for those events. I definitely think some of the larger leagues. I mean, it doesn't. They could set a league up themselves potentially. Who knows? But it's probably too much hassle for them. But no, I'm with you. You know, obviously someone like Rudy qualifying just means that obviously I would if I tried, because I'm one of the few people in this league that have beaten him over a season. So. I just can't be bothered. I'm like that kid at school, you know, the one that when they grow up, they go, I could have got all loads of A's in my GCSEs, but I couldn't be bothered. Didn't try. I'm gonna be the league racing equivalent of that. But no, it's an interesting point. Racecraft and even persona a little bit. You know, there's a lot of quick lads out there that like to, you know, clown around a bit, and it's quite funny because some of them qualify for these events and they're never going to get signed by some of these teams because they're posting things on Twitter about all sorts. Yeah, so it's a strange world actually. It's a very immature world compared to other games as well, like Gran Turismo. A lot of the qualifiers tend to be a bit older in average age, and even like ACC with their LFM format and stuff. Yeah, it's a very juvenile, and I don't mean that negatively, I just mean it in the true sense of the word. It's a younger target audience. You know, someone like Brendan Lee's basically a granddad now, and he's about 10 years younger than me. So, yeah, it's a strange ecosystem. I'd love to see it shaken up a bit for the next game, to be honest.
Yeah, Brendan Lee's 2 years younger than me as well, which makes me feel very, very old indeed. But however, we are getting going in towards, of course, the race. Thank you for bearing with us, by the way. Verstappen has done quick time in terms of actually getting... Hopefully when I do load into the lobby, that'd be great, because I've got a black screen at the stage. There we go. And I've checked the weather for everyone as well. It is going to be like this for the whole race. It is going to be very wet conditions. Time is realistic of day as well, even though it doesn't look... It looks like 9 o'clock at night in Austin at this stage, with the rain actually falling out on track. But with the rain obviously falling out on track, everyone is going to be on similar setups. Everyone is, you would assume, going to be on the same compound attire as well. But could we expect anyone rogue, if you like, going on that set of intermediates as opposed to full wets? Because I think we are going to be starting off majority of the drivers on full wets.
I'd love to see someone try it. The Jarno Opmeer strategy, he did that, didn't he? He famously did that in a league race. Esports, which is even more kind of a big cojones in that sense. But I'd love to see a Rick or a Jake or a Darry try it. Why not? Give yourself a go. I mean, if it goes wrong, you've completely ruined your race. But for me, it would be entertaining. So I hope someone does it.
Yeah, will be entertaining indeed. And of course, Selly leads the championship going into tonight as well, and he qualified, I think, in third position in the end. So he'll be hoping to try and get some really, really good pace on the ball, with 30 seconds now going, of course, until we get into the formation app. Montana saying as well, shame that the others could get wet setups. Yeah, that is a true point. Obviously, we've had a little bit of a delay. Drivers, I think there was two, certainly that joined a little bit late. I think Rocco might have been one of them. They, I think, have now switched to a full wet setup, so that is going to be interesting. It defeats the object, really. I think drivers should start on the same setup and basically the same compound tire that they were going to be starting on the same strategy. But look out on track. Absolutely bottomless in terms of the track. Absolutely covered quite literally in spray. Everyone has decided to go full wet compound tyres, which is, I don't think, defeating the object whatsoever, because I think this is the right side to be on, especially when we have got this for 28 laps worth of racing. Buckle up. I thought Monaco was bad. This could be even worse.
Do you know what I think is quite a shame as well, is the simple fact that I think when you manually input the weather, it's a lot more linear than if you leave it to dynamic. So I think this will literally, this is just a set amount of full wet rain when you type it in, whereas when it's more dynamic, you seem to find that you can get those weird moments where it says wet, but it's verging on inters. So yeah, it's annoying that they had to restart, but I don't really feel like they had any choice, because if that was anyone, and the man who got a 5-second grid pen also gets disqualified by not moving his car, I think, potentially. Was he driving around? He must have hit someone, but yeah, unfortunate, but if anyone was in his shoes, they'd be crying for a restart. So yeah.
Yeah, you've got Verstappen as well, down in 17th. He's a bit of a wet weather specialist. He could be one to watch out for. Certainly, we haven't made our Mark Lawrence and John Motton predictions, by the way, this week.
Oh, we haven't? No. Right, we'll quickly do it. I kind of made mine already, didn't I? I said Alp, and then I won't go for, it'd be a bit of a cheat code if I said, then I'll say Campbell and Selly. I'm going to go Alp, then Selly, and then I'm going to go, who's good in the wet? Loads of people that I know are good in the wet are too far down. Let's just go for Rick, just for a laugh, actually. I like supporting Rick in the wet. It normally works to a degree, so somehow Rick's going to create a world all-time drive and get third. There we go.
Interesting. I'm actually going to go Sally for the win. I think he'll get a really electric start, even though it's full wet conditions. I think he'll get as good a start as anyone. Alp is normally so off the line. Campbell normally bogs down in the wet's off the line as well. So I'm going to go for Sally for the win. I'm going to go Campbell for second. And in third, I'm going to go for a bit of a wet weather specialist. And I hope to God he comes back to form. Jensen there in third. When he's on his day in the wet, he's normally very good. So they're down in 8th position. He is one to watch out for as the final hat of peas now lines up. It is a little bit of mushy peas weather, I've got to be honest, here in Austin. But 28 laps now waiting the drivers out on track. It'd be great if we had the menu to go on board with the drivers. Here we go. 5 red lights going out in Austin. Wouter and Packer get a drive-through penalty, but it's lights out and away we go. And what a start that is from Wouter. Actually gets an electric start to the inside line, in towards turn number 1, and he might even be 4 wide for the lead here. Out now on the outside. Campbell, though, dives it to the inside line. Got to be very careful indeed. Out forced off track, but I think he musters his way through. Back into the lead. Everyone quite tetchy. Campbell, though, around the outside of him, gets the move done. So Campbell through and he's into the lead. Out there in second. Sunny there in third. They'll now cascade their way slowly but surely through the S section. McLaren is being caught up in a bit of an incident. I think Jensen might have lost the front wing as well. Jensen has certainly lost a bit of damage there, so not unfortunate for him. I think he's got caught up in an incident there, but Campbell leads the way. Out there in second, Sully in third. Pretty much up the front end of the grid is very good. Jensen actually has got away with things. It's somebody else, I think, that I saw front wing fly off on the car, and I'm trying to see who it is, but can't actually see as always as that goes very, very deep and very, very wide coming through as he goes inside a slash on rejoining. Sully now right on the back of Alp as well to the outside line. Alp will have to defend to the inside line. The AlphaTauri and the Mercedes cascade their way down and towards turn number 12, but Campbell leading the way, and Sally on the brakes tries to get them all done all the way around the outside of turn number 12. Alp nearly makes contact with him, and Sally trying to stretch my voice even further to go to the inside of turn 13. Tries to get the job done. Alp on the the outside line. There should be job done for Sully. Alp, though, is still on the inside line. In towards 10-15. He now dives at Sully, tries to get the switch back in the end. The AlphaTauri parks his car nearly to perfection, but Sully's around the outside of turn 16. This would be brilliant if he can pull this off. Oh, and there's contact, and Alp in the end. Oh, and there's contact again. Nathan there, I think, got caught up in that as well. He's got right on end plate damage on the car. In the end, though, Campbell leads the way. Sully in second, White in third, and Sully gave him as much room as he was given. Whiter in the end coming in with a drive-through penalty. I think Nathan got away with it, but in the end, at the end of a 1 minute 54 lap one, Campbell leads the way. Sully in second, Nathan there in third, and in the end, Sully couldn't really do a thing about it because I think Alp actually got caught on a sausage curb and forced him off.
Yeah, it was such a shame because it was such class racing between the pair of them. And then it just, unfortunately, you go too wide in the wet forever, someone's going to make a mistake, and unfortunately it was Alp.
It was Alp indeed. He's down in 19th position. Packer there in 20th as well. I think as Whiter certainly came in the pit lane. I think Packers also came in the pit lane to serve up that drive-through penalty. But on settling down as Pease and Verstappen go side by side through the left-hand return number 9, and Verstappen's looking to the inside line here in the Alpine. The Haas on the outside line tries to get the job done, and Killer's trying to get involved in this as well, but he's had a mistake in the background of shot, and actually Verstappen goes completely deep into the left-hander of turn number 11, also going wide in the background. I think it was Matthias in the background going very wide. It was Jeroen actually, the one that went very wide in the background, but Campbell there leads the way. Sully there in second, Nathan there in third. On the run down towards turn number 12, Sully is right on the back of Campbell. In the end, though, I don't think he's going to get the job done, and nobody further down the field I think is going to get the job done. Maybe apart from Rick down the inside of Matthias. Doesn't look to try and get the job done though, and now on settling down, Campbell leads the way, Sully in second, and look at the gap they've got. 3.4 seconds to Nathan, who I'm assuming as Gary tries to defend off Yildirim there into the left-hander. Jensen as well trying to make his way through on Rocco, and he slides his way out the corner. Yildirim and Gary are side by side through turn 16, nearly forced out wide onto the gravel there. On the AstroTurf there was Yildirim, but Yildirim I think is just going to have enough balls to pull off the move. Great stuff from the relentless man. Gets the job done. Gary there in third, no podium on so far for Gary, but Yildirim there into fourth. Great move around the outside of turn 16.
Ooh, as Jensen nearly went right into the back of Rocco and then locked up, which allowed Slash to get past him, and yeah, that's cost him a place when it looked like he was going to gain one.
And here he comes to the inside on once again. Slash I think has gone a little bit too deep into the corner in the Google Chrome coloured McLaren. But Jensen doesn't get the job done, and Slash there in 8th, Pease there in 10th, and Killer's actually fighting side by side with them. Who said you couldn't get full wet racing? Pease, by the way, has got damage on the right side end plates. I'm not sure if he's had a little bit of a moment. That might have been the front wing that I saw fly off and turn on lap 1. But Pease has certainly got damage right side end plate, and now he's getting eaten up potentially by Verstappen, by Matthias, by Rick. You certainly don't want two Dutchies right on the back of you.
Big shout out to Matthias. He's up 6 places. Great run for him. As is Verstappen, but Rocco's also up 6. Rocco does tend to start well, doesn't he? He tends to fly through the field or fly into the back of them, one or the other. So yeah, some big movers already.
And it's Sully for the race lead. Sorry to cut you off, Mark. There goes Sully for the race lead, diving it down the inside line. There's a spinner in the background. Campbell though gets the traction on the inside of turn 13. Sully had to try and go for the move. Campbell's gone too deep. Sully's going to get the up and under, and now they're still side by side coming out of 14, then through 15. As I say, who wouldn't get racing here in full wets? The rain is beginning to ease off slightly, and Campbell just about holds the lead from Sully. Great action once again. Let's Nathan catch up a little bit. Another half a second gain from Nathan this lap around, but Campbell there leading the way. Sully in second, Nathan there in third. Sorry to cut you off.
No, massive for the title as well.
And Verstappen's trying to look to the inside of Matthias. I think Jensen's just got the move done and slashing towards turn 18 as well. So good job from Jensen. And Verstappen doesn't get the job done on Matthias. Now he does, because Matthias is completely out wide. Pieces into the pit lane to replace his front wing. Rick has gone completely deep through the final corner. And once again, we go on to lap 4 out of 28. And Killer's right on the back of Slash.
Jayco's joined the party. He's right on the back of Rick. Oh, as Rick almost forced to dive it because of Jayco. And very aware by Matthias. That could have easily been incident.
Oh, Jensen's round. Jensen round, coming out of turn number 3, and he's got no front wing whatsoever on that Mercedes. We fly through camera shot there with Matthias, but he has got no front wing on the car. There goes my prediction, and he is still out of form in league racing, sadly. He's down there in 17th position. Jeroen and Pease and Packer as well, all came into the pit lane. Packer as well, they had a spin somewhere out on track, that's why he's so far down the field. Wouter picks up a 3-second penalty as well. All of a sudden though, Mark, Campbell leads the way, Selly in second, and the gap all of a sudden is now 7/10 of a second. So Selly is beginning to make maybe one too many mistakes as Izzat's going side by side with Gary in the background.
I think Izzat's got a straight line advantage on him ever so slightly.
Oh, he's moving across on him in the braking zone. Just about gets the job done though.
Yeah, good move. Gary going backwards after a promising start. Yulbream is... Do you know what's really interesting is I think Nathan and Yulbream are arguably quicker than the front two. That gap has gone down with Nathan. He was at 3.7, 3.8 a couple of laps ago, and Yulbream has caught Nathan whilst getting past Gary. So maybe Yulbream might even be the quickest man on track at the moment.
I think potentially he could be. He certainly caught the back of Nathan. Nathan was 3.1 seconds behind last lap around as well, so the gap has actually stayed quite stagnant over the course of a lap or so. But Stappen picks up a 3-second penalty. But that also means Nathan and Yildirim can be physically catching out on track as well. Sully is certainly catching on Campbell and towards turn number 1, and he looks to try and maybe rectify some of the issues that he's had out on track. I'm assuming he made a mistake last lap around, that's why he's now 6.5 tenths back off the back of Campbell, and Campbell so far is doing a good job. Nathan there in 3rd, Yildirim there in 4th. We're still only on lap 5 out of 28. I wish I could bring in the action quicker. We haven't. We certainly haven't got a fast forward as Jensen has retired in the pit lane. And, Mark, I'm going to be serious here. If that's the form that he is in, going into potentially F1 Esports Challengers later on in the year, he is going to get eaten alive in that field.
Hopefully not, but I can understand the thought process, because, yeah, that's not what he needs, and he's obviously now out of the race. I suspect he will be off to do something else with his evening, for the rest of the evening, but... As Packer is round again. I mean, the Americans are not having much fun on their home turf, are they? Packer and obviously Alp, pointless at the moment, which it's still a long way to go, but yeah, not going great.
Yeah, there is indeed. Rick's on the back of Matthias, running down straight in towards turn number 12 as the Alfa Romeo going to go for the move to the outside line. Ooh. Matthias nearly moves across on him in towards turn number 12 into the braking zone. Matthias just about kept the door shut there, and Rick, he has a bit of a snap of oversteer there, does the Alfa Romeo, and Matthias 7-11 stays as it is, currently in 11th and 12th position, unless there's a ridiculous dive bomb down the inside, which there isn't. Rick knows better than that, and the Finn on the back of the Dutchman currently out on track. Campbell though leading the way from Sally in second, Nathan there in third. Montana, by the way, coming in the comment section saying Gary down again. I like that. I really like that. I'm going to steal that for the rest of the night, I think. Campbell the way on top from Sally in second, Nathan there in third. And Sally, ooh, I thought it was going to go into the back of Campbell into the braking zone of turn number 1. In the end though, Sally is now beginning to put the pace on. These two are beginning to really dominate now. And Nathan all of a sudden has lost a second in a lap.
Yes. Yeah, he has. And I think this is now verging into a 2-horse race. Campbell has a ton of battery. Silly does not. It is the wet, so you can regenerate it a bit more easier, but Campbell could go through the gears here if he really wanted. Big question. I don't know if anyone's willing to give me an answer in the chat. Pretty sure you can no-stop this, and that might even be the preferential thing to do. Is that an option? Can you no-stop it?
I think it is. I think a no-stop, it's certainly, in a full wet race, you don't have to come in the pit lane if you don't want to. However, judging by the guys going very aggressive in terms of their strategy, I'd honestly say, if there's going to be a little bit of a lighter period in the race, which I don't think there is, as Sally again is on the back of Campbell. Goodness me, his braking is really, really strong, I've got to say. But through the corners, Campbell just gains a little bit more on traction. He's got more ERS. He's got, what, 10 times more ERS at this stage compared to Sally. That's taking a bit of context, but you know what I mean. 59% of ERS, Sally on 11%. So basically 5 times the amount of ERS that Campbell has to Selly, and Selly there in second at the minute has got absolutely no chance to try and gain even down the straight, and therefore he's using up his battery a little bit too much. Therefore, I think he needs to just lift and coast through the corners, maybe gain a bit of ERS, maybe get on level pegging, and then attack him. Because as you say, if it's a no-stop race, these guys are going to have to try and weather their tyres right to the end of the race.
Well, you'd think there's not much chance of a safety car, but I've got a little bit of news on that front, because it's Rocco and Gary next to each other on track.
Oh, Sally dives down the inside line of turn number 1, tries to get the job done, and he picks up a 3-second penalty for his absolute pains. Sorry to cut you off, Mark. Sally absolutely launched it there on the back of Campbell. That was the test. That was the testing move. Montana said in the comments there, just while we cut to the action there, he also said, apparently he's chosen his dry setup by mistake, and that's why he's struggling through the corners. But Campbell leads the way, Sally in second, audacious move, comes back to bite him right on the backside.
Yeah, do you know what's really interesting as well with this is that if he has a dry setup on, you'd think he'd be faster in the straights, but he doesn't seem to have a massive advantage. But that could be pivotal. And what will be really interesting is Campbell also has a nice little subplot, because what he would love is to back Selly into Nathan, which isn't out of the question.
Yeah, not out of the question, but 4.2 seconds he's going to have to back him up. And I think if Campbell and Nathan are in a party, which I'm definitely assuming that they are, they have got to be probably consulting on each other. Does Campbell back Selly up? Nathan, though, and Yilbreen certainly, I think, has got the pace. Once he's free of Nathan, I think he's certainly got the pace to try and close in on the front too. Nathan, though, doesn't seem to be going anywhere. In fact, I'll argue this. I'll argue with myself and say his Biter has, I think, spun... Oh, sorry, yeah, Packer has spun on the first sector. But Nathan there in third, he hasn't got any speed at this stage. He hasn't got any pace whatsoever. He's there in third on sufferance. And, yeah, he's getting on Yilbreen through the corners, but... there's a lot more straights on this track than corners, and Nathan is probably going to struggle.
What's really interesting as well with this is that if someone does decide that it's worth stopping, it's quite a short pit lane here. The leaders are pretty much, I think it's about 17.5, probably a bit longer in the wet just for the slowing down to get around the corner. It's about 18.5 seconds. If they can probably clear up to Gary, you know, they can, let's say, make 4 or 5 seconds on Gary, it might be worth them going for it. Selly seems to be cutting a lot of corners. I'm convinced he's picked up another couple of warnings. Every time I'm riding on board with him, it seems to be very on the line. And yeah, he has. He's picked up another warning at least. It might even be 2. So he is struggling out there.
Yeah, he is indeed. And look, coming just out of Pewley, turn number 10, just loses that a lot of time. And Sally there is on the back foot once again. Campbell has got. He knows where to put the triggers, basically, on the track. He basically knows where Sally is weaker than him. And Campbell is driving this very, very nonchalantly so far. This is a beautiful performance from Campbell at this stage, but he needs to control it from the front. Sally will have second thinking, because he had that test, of course, 2 laps ago in towards turn number 1. And again on the brakes! Oh my god, I thought it was going on the back of him there! Into the braking zone at turn number 12. Sally is living on fear, quite literally. He wants to try and put Campbell under pressure, but he's putting himself under pressure. And look, he's squirreling his way coming out of turn 14. If I was Sally, I'd just turn around and say, look, you're not going to get Campbell in the next few laps. Just back up yourself, basically. Save up that ERS and try and have a go with him down the straight. If not, he's got absolutely no chance. And again, fighting his way coming out of turn 16, Sally has... He's losing too much time for my liking, and that is not good, as Campbell makes a huge mistake, though, as Matthias and Rick are also side by side further down the field.
Rick finally gets through. That might release Rick. So look out for him to getting on to the back of Verstappen.
Yep, that's him through, and he's into 11th. Finn in front of the Dutchman. Matthias there in 12th. Wise in 13th. There's another spinner, and that's Jeroen, I think, that is round the Aston Martin there through turn 16, which there's a bump, actually, coming through turn 16, which is why we nearly saw Selly catch. But again, through the first sector, Selly is so strong. 2 tenths per second, 3 tenths per second, and now it goes back out just through the S section. Up before that point, though, Selly is quicker than Campbell through parts of the track. In the end, Nathan is not quite as quick at the front two. Yilbreen is not as quick at the front two because he's getting held up. And Campbell leading the way has got that 3-second penalty, obviously, with Sally behind him, as I think you might see Wouter, I think, onto the move on Matthias.
That was some robust racing there, and yeah, look, Matt has already lost a ton of time as Killer picks up a pen, and this is just helping Rick. I mean, Rick is in a position where, again, you know, he's good. The man is just great in the wet, and he knows how to keep his nose clean. I expect at least 7th or 8th from him here.
Yeah, definitely so. Montana also saying even a one-stop is barely enough to make it to the end. Yeah, and that's the big point. I think the Inters, I've certainly seen an Inter race around here on this game, and the Inters normally last around 12 or 13 laps. So if that's anything to go by, we should see this race completely split in two in terms of the strategy call. Wet compounded tyres obviously can last longer in the wet, so therefore, I'm going to bank it on as Matthias, I think, has spun, so that might be another shot for people. Coming to the right-hand return number 12, the left-hand return number 12, I think he looks like Girona's left the session as well, which I think is connection issues. Yeah, Girona's dropping down the field, but what was I saying? I've totally forgot what I was saying there. Sully's on the back of Campbell. Is he going to go for the move again? Yes, he is! Ooh. To the inside line! And this one is more audacious! To the inside line! Makes contact with Campbell, and in the end, is he going to get the move? Round the outside of turn number 2? Campbell's on the inside, and now they're side by side into the S section. Goodness me, this could end horribly wrong. But Campbell stays ahead just about, and Sully knew when to back out. In the end, robust racing. A little bit too robust for my liking, but still, it is good to watch.
I love that. I mean, it's interesting because it's the adage, isn't it? Never show your opponent where you're going and where you're going to make your move. And he didn't the first time around. So I'm amazed that he got Campbell by surprise. If I'm Campbell and I'm seeing him 3 attempts back, I'm just covering the inside line at this point in turn 1.
Yeah, and I wonder actually if Sally's listening to us on the commentary, because look at his ERS now. It's 27%. It's about half the amount of Campbell in terms of the ERS. Montana is sitting there, I'm sure, in the party, communicating all this with him. James says save up that ERS. That's exactly what he's doing. He's not using the ERS now down the straight. And again on the brakes is looking good as Killer and Slash are side by side out of the left-hander of turn number 11 into the left-hander of turn number 12. And Killer, I think, has just got a bit of straight line speed compared to Slash, who is getting a bit of toe from Rocker as Packer was retired in the pit lane. Killer, though, to the inside line, gets the job done in towards turn number 12, and Slash in the end can't fight on the brakes, so that is Killer through and he's into 8th.
So really interesting because the undercut is going to be so powerful. If they can clear Gary, and I know that Montana will be all over this, if they can clear Gary, they're in fresh air. If they can't, they're in trouble. They're going to come out with this Rocco Killer Slash train. But after that, you'll end up being with Izat. So really interesting to see if people are going to do the undercut. I know there isn't much of an undercut to do from the sounds of it, from what Montana was saying about tyre wear, but...
Oh, Killer! Oh, I thought it was going to go to the inside of turn number 20. Goodness me. Rick, by the way, is in the pit lane, and that is the undercut that I think I was certainly going to come on to. There was a yellow flag on that Packers AI. I thought I got excited there. I thought it was Campbell and Selly. Killer, though, to the inside line of turn number 1. Still on board with his battle, on board with Rocco. On the outside line of turn number 1, now for the inside of turn number 2. Might just have the traction, and in the end, just bullies his way through into turn number 2. That's the Rocco style of racing, ladies and gentlemen. He is through and he's into 7th, and makes Killer literally like a killer queen out on track. And that's the best pun I could use in that situation. But Slash knows on the back of him, and Killer, he got forced out there by Rocco, and that's just Rocco's sort of driving.
Do you know what's really interesting is Pease, with that early pit stop, has come out ahead of Rick, even though he had damage. You've got to think there is potential for Pease, if he can somehow get those to the end, which I don't think he can, but he's going to make himself a nuisance if a safety car comes out, which I highly doubt, but I don't know, there's a lot of spinners. Pease will come out potentially ahead of this train that's Rocco's in, really.
Speaking of Rocco, Killer's on the outside line of him in towards turn number 12 and tries to muster it all around the outside. But in the end, Rocco just about defends, but Killer does want this move. He wants to try and get a bit of own back there. On the back of Rocco, in the end though, nearly collects him through turn 14. There's one way to go about doing your business, and then there's Killer's way to try and get the job done. As Sally...
Massive! No, there's a massive incident. Rick's gone right into the back of Pease. Oh, that is brutal. He tried a last-minute move, but Pease moved. Oh, really tough, really tough. Almost shades of Stroll versus Alonso, and that is Rick's race in the mud, unfortunately, and even Pease might have damage as a
Slashes
few
in.
people pit. Yeah.
Yeah, slash into the bit. It's such a shame. Rocco, as you say, sorry, Rick, as you say, he's got damage. He is certainly going to be trooping his way around. I think it's right on end plate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it is. Right on end plate. Yildirim has picked up a 3-second penalty as well. And that really sets about a real good change on the constructors as well, because Ferrari have been doing quite consistently with Campbell, of course, leading the forefront of that team. Nathan there in third hasn't got a penalty just yet. Selly has. Yildirim has. Nathan is sitting on a goldmine potentially. If Selly and Yildirim pick up another 3-second penalty, he could be in there. He could be potentially going for a 1-2 with Ferrari. As Selly, right on the back of Campbell, is now same amount of ERS as Campbell as Darius sped into the pit lane. I think he spun on that lap and has retired the car. Selly though, oh my god! Nearly into the back, and that is a huge mistake from Selly in the end. Completely messed up his braking point, and in the end is nearly outside of a second to Campbell. My goodness me, Selly on the brakes, couldn't get it stopped that time around. That is one thing, this is the danger of this circuit. Campbell, I think, is backing Selly back up, and then obviously try and get him in the slipstream again. But Selly there in second, he is living on an absolute nightmare potentially in this race. If he goes to, he's literally pushing. He's like Montana. He doesn't know when to stop. Literally, one way of going about things, Selly's way, is to try and get as much time on Campbell coming into the corners. Campbell's motto is to try and get him outside of the corners. So far, Campbell's strategy seems to be paying off. So if I was Selly, I'd be looking on Campbell in front of me and thinking, what is he doing? As Nathan is into the pit lane, and I bet you Selly is going to be in the pit lane this lap as well.
Nathan's going to come out around this Verstappen Walter kind of issue. I think Campbell and Selly have got enough to jump Gary now. As Gary's in the pits, they're released. They are now released. I don't think I'm giving any trade secrets away here at all. So these guys are now free to pit.
Nathan's going to be sorry to cut you off. Nathan's going to be side by side, a thing with Wouter coming out the pit lane. There is Wouter, there is Nathan just coming out. And actually, hasn't worked out too bad. He's actually got into a little bit of clear air there. But the big but is, he's now in traffic. Rocco is in the lead of that train. And you know when Rocco's in the lead of the train, he's probably not going to go anywhere quicker. And Nathan has to get those tyres warmed up first and foremost. He's outside of a second. Once he gets those tyres warmed up, they are going to come on like an absolute light. They're going to, literally at a flick of a switch, they're going to come online. He's going to be right on the back of these guys. And look already, the tyres have already warmed up. They don't take much heating up at all. And now he's got Wouter firmly in the sights, potentially towards turn number 12. Might not even need it because he's just picked up a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, they're going to start slowing him now. He should get much better traction though out of the corner. But he doesn't. He actually made quite a big mistake there, so that won't have helped him. Wouter is using, so Wouter's not getting out of the way. This is unfortunate for Nathan, but Campbell and Selly, you've got to imagine they're going to come in at this point. I think that there's plenty of a gap now, as they will come out behind Izzat, but not all but about 2 seconds of clear air, I would assume. Yeah, Campbell pits. Might work out for Selly. Campbell may actually get held up a bit by Izzat, depending on what Izzat does.
Oh my god! What on earth have I just seen through 10-15? Too late to the party on that, but Nathan, I think, was trying to go to the outside line of Wouter in towards 10-15. He's completely locked up the brakes. Wouter is now ahead, and Verstappen in the end has just got completely caught up in a 2-for-1 deal, like a meal deal there, coming through the final couple of quarters. And Nathan again, so close to the back of Wouter. He's got so much speed, he needs to try and use it up. The guys ahead have already come out of the pit lane. Sally Campbell is already at the pit lane. And Nath, where is Yildirim? Yildirim is there! Yildirim is there! Left side in towards turn number 1. Nathan on the outside line. Yildirim's going to make contact with him. And Nathan's just ahead of him. Nathan has got ahead of Yildirim. Absolutely crucial. Yildirim's tyres will come online in a couple of corners. That has worked out perfectly for Nathan short term. Long term, however, Yildirim's got more ERS than him, so he can easily come back.
Yeah, and Campbell may get held up here by Izzat. In sector 3, I would think that might be an option, as Selly is definitely feeling this. He will be in. He'll have Montana in his ear, I would assume, telling him exactly what's going on back there. I think he's going to try and push for this overcut in effect.
Oh, is that Peter's picking up a 3-second penalty? And yes, Selly will try and go for the overcut, but He might try and go undercut because Nathan now is working on the back of Wouter. He tried to get the move done on turn 15 last lap around. Is he going to go turn 12 this time around? No, not quite. Yildirim is actually slower down the straights than Nathan, and this is going to work out in the Ferrari's favour, but Nathan has got to work this move to absolute perfection. Wouter's not going to let him go whatsoever. It's Relentless against KVR. You know what happens when Relentless and KVR. And there we go. Nathan just sends it to the inside line. That has beautifully worked. Absolutely picture perfect move. And Nathan! Oh no, they've got on each other. Nathan, bit of a weird one that. I think Nathan had a spin coming out of turn 15. Wouter in the end has just about got away with it. Nathan is ahead of Wouter. But in the end, my goodness me, what on earth happened there? Nathan in the end has just lost the position to Yildirim, lost the position to Verstappen, and now Nathan's got a whole lot of work to do. Wouter was just purely there, left-hand side, wrong place, wrong time. Campbell, by the way, is actually losing time to Selly, I think.
He is, and I think Selly is trying and hoping. The pit losses is genuinely between 17 and 18 seconds. He is kind of gaining now, and I think that he should have enough. We had the rubbish AWS graphic that they use in real life. I think his percentage would be in the high 80s here, but it's not going to be comfortable, put it that way. And obviously Selly now is just going to have an advantage. A couple of laps fresher tyres, which is always helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So, lap 15 out of 28, we are halfway through, which makes me think, with Division 2 and Division 4 coming later on, probably no time for interviews, I think, tonight, as Nathan is on the back of Verstappen, looks to the inside line at turn number 11, and in the end, Verstappen is going to battle this, though. To be fair, he's going to get a good amount of traction coming out of turn number 11, now down the straight and towards turn number 12, who has the better straight line speed, and in this situation, it's Nathan as Killer is out of the race. Rocco has been caught up in that collision as well. Is that a safety car incoming? No, VSC deployed out on track, but that's crucial for Nathan. He got the move done on Verstappen. Now we get to a full safety car, and Selly has been absolutely saved.
Wow. Drama. And
he's going to be ahead. He's going to be ahead. He's 20 seconds clear going into the pit lane. He's going to be miles ahead.
It's going to be miles clear. Absolutely miles clear. So, QVR Killer, perhaps he's doing an XL agent job there. He's still an XL driver in his heart and messing up Campbell's life. But there you go, Darian and Packer. You shouldn't quit, because you would have been back in this race just like our man Rick is, who's been given a massive reprieve.
Sally's 5 seconds clear coming out the pit lane.
It's wild.
That's
it's
mad.
Absolutely wild. It's really crazy. I would assume, what I find really interesting as well, how many sets of wets do you get? Do you only get 2 for the race, or is it 3 you get?
I don't know. I think it might be 2, I would say.
Well, I think we'll find out, because I imagine if you get another set, Rick will pit. You might as well, if he's last. You're free to, aren't you, really? Because there's no danger in it. Which actually makes me think, well, Campbell was forced, really, because Yildirim wasn't going to pit, and nor was Nathan. So he was forced to stay on those tyres as well. But Rick, maybe you only do get 2, because Rick has stayed out, so...
Yeah. Michael Massey, by the way, who I'm assuming is an alternate account of Total Wolf, who was in the chat a little bit earlier on, I said that was so predictable. Yeah, Killer has literally just came into Discord and said, "You're welcome, guys," to us both. So, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it just delays the fact that we're probably not going to get any interviews for Division 1 a little bit later on. But I don't mind. I do not mind whatsoever. We've got half an hour, basically, until Division 2. This is less than half an hour in the race left, but it is going to be cutting it tight, put it that way. And with the safety car out, it's going to cost more time. It is going to be cutting it tight. So I think probably best to scrap the interviews tonight, give the drivers a little bit of time, and give, of course, the likes of Verstappen, who I know are commentating Division 4, Packer as well, who's commentating Division 4 as well, J. Cole and Killer, who are doing Division 2, a bit of time to just prepare for that. I know Killer's going to be on the case with that as well. But Sally leading the way from Campbell in second, Yildirim there in third, and this has worked out to Sally's absolute... if you could not predict a race like this, Selly would have been wanting a safety car in and around lap 15, lap 16. Worked out to absolute perfection for him. He's in the race lead, but this is a situation now, Mark, where we don't what we haven't got to see so far tonight. Selly Ooh! Nearly spins out through the final corner. Goodness me! I was about to say before he's living life very dangerously on the line there. I was about to say Sally is in the lead of the race for the first time tonight, and this is a situation we haven't got to see. We now get to see whether Sally is quicker than Campbell on raw pace out on track. It looked to me certainly he was. Campbell though, with a 3-second penalty overhanging Sally, Campbell will be thinking, well, if I stay in the second, it's going to be mine.
This is it. I mean, it's do you know what? It's do or die, isn't it, for Sally? Because it's going to help him in the sense of potentially win the race, but it also could hinder him in the sense that he could drop down behind Nathan now, which was never a danger before. So there's a lot to play for with this. I'm actually going to see who's got fastest lap.
Peas, I think.
Quite interesting. Oh, so he,
Oh, no,
whoever. Oh, so he's in a chance for 2 points now. So he's loving life. I imagine that will go now though, because everyone's obviously pit for fresh, less fuel. So I can't imagine that will stay. But that extra point is up for grabs from pretty much anyone now as well, which is another added wrinkle.
Montana, by the way, confirming in the chat, and I'm not going to read the exact word out on stream, but he can confirm that Sully did S himself, which is, I think, a Code Brown moment, is what we say in the industry. Code Brown moment from Sully. Certainly doesn't want to be doing that again, and I don't think we're going to get the safety car in this lap, because Jerome's just coming out the left-hand turn number 11. Safety car normally comes in from around this point. If Jerome can latch onto the back before turn 16, Sully's getting very close to the safety car, by the way, and if he gets too close to the safety car, he's getting disqualified from this race. He's got to be very, very careful. He is literally living life very dangerously tonight, the Austrian. It's normally what you say in a mountainous region, yes, normally happens, but from Sully, he is living life very much on the line tonight. Jerome, by the way, is not catching up to the back of the safety car unless it decides to come in around now, which I don't think will be the case. I think we are going to get another lap of the safety car, and yes, we will, because the safety car is staying out on track. Sully now still leading the way from Campbell in second, yielding that. But most positions gained, by the way. We haven't had a ride on board with this. Matthias, somehow, has gained 11 positions in this race. A bit of an underdog. I think he's undercut pretty much the whole field as a part of that safety car pit-in. He's there down an 8. And now we get Jeroen coming back into the pit lane. And I have a feeling he might go green wall compounder tyre intermediates, perhaps. Just going to ride on board with them in the pit lane. And he goes full silhouette.
Oh, no. Oh, that was strange. Graphical four ball from me. So you do get a third set. Why didn't Rick pit again? That's very strange. Very bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really bizarre. Really bizarre. But Jeroen just tries to examine. He literally does not want any interviews for anybody up the rest of the field, I think, at this point. Because Jeroen has came in the pit lane. And they're in 16th doing a very, very good job. By the way, in case you were wondering about the football, and in case I was wondering about the football, because I'm a Sunderland fan, Newcastle got beat, which is good.
Yeah, well, I saw that. It was they had a man sent off, didn't they? The goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper, Nick Pope, yeah.
Bizarre. But, yeah, really interesting how this race is going to pan out now. There's going to be a casualty here somewhere, you feel, in these conditions. There's going to be someone that's going to this is going to cost them. Don't know who it will be, but it's going to be someone. As Killer is talking in the chat, I just noticed there. Hi, Killer. We can't hear you, but you keep chatting away. Maybe you forgot your mics on. Hope you're not doing anything too embarrassing. But yeah, let's see who's in.
Well, the embarrassment is about to be saved because the safety car is now coming in this lap. I mean, Killer is out of the race. That's embarrassing in its own right. But Sally, now the virtual Barlander, now the virtual safety car with 10 laps to go here in America, in Austin, Texas. What is going to happen now in this race? Sully clearly has pace. He clearly has speed. He has been living life completely dangerously out on track. So Izzat nearly spun there in the background, as I saw coming through 10:15. But Sully now is in a position where he can try and dominate through the race. He's got 2 lap pressure tyres compared to Campbell. That normally is going to be about 6-7% in terms of tyre wear. With the safety car, however, being out, that actually degrades the tieway a little bit further. Selly now goes in toward the left-hand turn 19 and has caught Campbell completely napping off the restart, and that is a brilliant restart from Selly into the left-hand turn number 20. He's already a second clear coming out the final corner, and Selly, there is no shadow of doubt in my mind he's got the pace now. All of a sudden, where's this come from? 1.4 seconds clear, Campbell caught napping, and Nathan's running on the back of Yildirim, running up the hill in towards turn number 1, tries to go all the way around the outside. He might have to try and dip back underneath through the left-hand turn number 1. Nearly works, actually, and Nathan now is side by side with Yildirim. I think Yildirim, though, just going to hang it to the inside line, gets caught on the curb, and Nathan's going to take full advantage to the inside. Good job! And now my headset nearly falls off. I'm stuck, but Nathan there in third, Yildirim there in fourth. Great job. But Selly, look at the gap he's pulled out. 2.2 seconds. This man was literally mimicking everyone in the whole field. Campbell, all of a sudden, has got no pace whatsoever. Nathan in third gets the move done on Yildirim. But Selly, where has this pace come from? He wanted this in the first half of the race. He's 2.5 seconds clear.
Unbelievable. And do you know what? This has helped Alp as well. With further back in the field, there's definitely some jostling. Wouter and Jake are going side by side, but I don't know if Wouter's going to get it done. He seems to have potentially, and most crucially, he's got the inside. Yeah, he's going to have this done by the next corner. They are actually starting to catch.
Oh my god!
As well.
Peas and your own in the background as well. There's a big dot to the left-hand side, and Peas actually has a piece of that and gets the job done. He's into 14th position. Nice job there by Peas. Down the inside of your own. Your own, though, is fighting back into the inside of turn 13. Doesn't want to put him into the wall. Certainly doesn't want to put him into a little bit of contact either. And in the end, they're fighting very aggressively through turn 15. Fighting the cars aggressively as well as your own. Tries to get the up and under round the outside of turn 15. In the end, Peas parks it on the inside. And Peas in the end just about holds on. I think I'm safe to say for 14th position. But look at the gap. Selly out in front. It's 4 seconds clear at the end of 1 lap of racing in the second half of the race. That is absolutely mad. It's almost as if Montana has literally been given control of his car and he's now controlling himself out on track. What a restart. In 10 years of league racing, that might have just been one of the most dominant, if not one of the best restarts I think I've seen from any driver that I've ever commentated on. That was just stunning from Selly. And then with that 3-second penalty, he's now got a 1.5 second buffer. Campbell's not catching up. This is Selly's to lose.
I'm absolutely confused. It's just ridiculous pace. Unbelievable. Like, the funny thing is, because I was looking at Campbell, I was like, oh, maybe Campbell's struggling. He's gapping Nathan. You know, like...
On Peas is out the race. We might get another safety car, actually. Yes, we do.
Wow, and that is a dagger for Selly. That is a dagger for Selly.
And what did I say 30 seconds ago?
do you know, there's an argument now that Gary's net P3. I mean, he's not, but, you know, technically, if there's a massive Trudy train ahead, it could be he's technically third.
He is technically third. Could be 2 podiums in a row as well. If more penalties go his way, Nathan Campbell, say, pick up a penalty, that is going to be game on. But Selly leading the way from Campbell there in second, Nathan there in third. But Selly now is back in the safety car once again. I know for a fine fact, I'm going to eat my own words if I say this. I don't think he's going to gain 4 seconds on a lap again in this race, let alone in his career, because that was just so impressive off the restart. Absolutely gunned it. He was a second clear coming out the final corner, 4 seconds clear. He basically gained 3 seconds a lap on Campbell. Yes, he was on 2 lap pressure tyres, but 2 lap pressure tyres can do that compared to 6 lap old wets.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything, but there might have been a grip hack involved in that.
Oh, not going down that wormhole, but do you know what's really funny as well? You've set up the conspiracy theorists in the chat now. Oh, it's Montana, he's getting someone else in an SX to type in. But I don't think it is somehow. We had a chat with Selly. You've got to be real committed to the story, but yeah, incredible pace. As we have Rocco in. Interesting.
Full set of wet compound tyres. He's down there in 15th, out of a point scoring position, I believe, as well. I think he was just ahead of Alp before he came in. So Rocco there in 15th has now got to try and manage his compound tyre, but at least we're going to get, well, 2 laps in the safety car. I think it's going to come in next lap around. So Selly leading the way, Campbell in second, Nathan there in third. But yeah, we have got conspiracy theorists, as you say, in the chat. Nolan especially among them. I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, it just exacerbates even further. Sadly though, regardless of what side of the argument you're on, that was just impressive off the safety car restart. If that was done on pure pace alone, that was, in 10 years of league racing, probably one of the best restarts I think I've ever seen. And this man, I said it with Slippery Cucumber last week as well, these drivers tend to make impressions on you. These drivers tend to make you not forget them. Sully is one of those drivers. Sully is one of those that you're not going to forget in a hurry. And so far, he has been so consistent this season. Yes, he had that bad result in China. Yes, he was well down the field. He finished 4th last week at Monaco. But he's been consistent. And that is what takes real guts and determination. And that's what separates, ultimately, Mark, good drivers from great drivers.
100%. I'm still confused why Rick hasn't pit. I find that really strange. Come on, Rick.
But Slash though was in the same boat though. He's in 7th.
But Slash, if Slash pits, he's going to lose a boatload of positions. Rick was last anyway, and he's only going to lose one to someone who's also on fresh, brand new tyres. So I'm very confused why you wouldn't ever use the safety car when you're at the back of the field for fresh tyres. Maybe he thinks you only get 2 sets. You clearly get 3 because Rocco's definitely pit twice. So yeah, mate, go on. Hopefully he proves me wrong. I want to see the sign, but I don't think he's going to now. It'd be risky to pit now, actually.
Yeah, he would drop down. Yeah, he would drop down the back of the field. I mean, he's got your own and fresh compound of tyres ahead of him, and I think that might be an incentive actually to go further forward if I was in Rick's shoes, because Rick is there. He's got your own, who has looked quite pacey. He's got drivers ahead who are on basically the same strategy as him, J. Cole and Alp included in that, and Rick, they're in 14th. He's just got to stick with your own. If he sticks with your own, makes up ground, Alp and J. Cole, say, for example, have a bit of an incident or have a spin out on track, Rick is going to be gaining those positions. So, yes, he might not be on for P3, but he's certainly going to be on for point score, I think, if and only if, of course, things happen in front. And you never know, everyone could stay within a second of each other underneath the safety car restart, barring Sally, of course, and Campbell, who are probably going to be absolute goats off the start. But all of those guys further down the field, they are going to have to be wearing, especially those on a 3-second penalty. In fact, actually, looking at the penalties, we have got drivers actually on 6 seconds worth of penalties as well. Sully has got 3. Not that he needs that 3 seconds worth of penalties, to be honest. Yildirim on 3, Izzat on 3, Matthias on 3, Verstappen on 3, and then on 6 seconds, Slash and Wouter. Other ones on 6 seconds worth of penalties. But Sully leading the way, Campbell in second, Nathan third, and we are going to get the safety car in this lap.
Yeah, do you know what I find remarkable is the safety car seems to go very fast in the wet, because people always struggle to catch it back up when they pit, and I've noticed this as a bit of a habit with this game. But it is in, as we predicted, 6 laps now. You know, on previous pace, Selly's going to win this by 20 plus seconds, even with a 3-second pen. But it's a new start. It's a neutralised start.
It is. And Campbell has got to be on the ball. Quite literally on the ball in terms of the safety car restart. He let Sully go at turn 18. If I was in Campbell's shoes, yes, the spray might be difficult. I'd be right underneath that rear wing if I was in Campbell's shoes, trying to press every last sinew out of Sully on the safety car restart, because you're not going to get, in Campbell's shoes, Nathan is backing up the pack. And actually, this is interesting, because Nathan's backing up the pack within 10 car lengths. And this could get Campbell the opportunity to launch an attack on Sully. This is tactical all of a sudden between Campbell and Sully. Through the left-hander at turn 19. Still hasn't gone. Now he says go. Sully again has caught Campbell. Completely napping though. Coming through the final corner at turn 20. And Sully once again. Look at that. He's 8 tenths clear. 9 tenths clear. He's a second clear again. Coming across the start-finish line. 1 to lap 23 out of 28. Sully leads the way. 1.1 seconds. Campbell again. Didn't get caught napping that time. Just on pure speed Sully pulls away. And is that now to the outside line? Looks at Yildirim to try and get the up and under. Coming out of turn number 1. Doesn't get the job done. Slash on the back of Gary as well. I think Jeroen and Alp were having a bit of a scrubbing match as well. Jeroen is through and he's into 11th. Already gaining 2 positions on the back of Yildirim. J. Cole and Alp. Rock 11, 14th. But Alp there struggling. Sully though, already 2 seconds clear at the end of the first sector.
Unbelievable. Gary's been caught napping as well. He's making a little truly train. So this is already broken into 3. Sally's in a league of his own at the moment. But yeah, it's broken into three little groups.
It has indeed, and Slash in that third group is on the back of Gary, Wouter as well, and Jeroen. Side by side, Jeroen's going to dive it to the inside line. That's too aggressive on Verstappen, and that's going to let potentially Wouter back through on the inside line. FVR, the former Relentless Man, just giving QVR something to think about there, maybe in terms of an upcoming event. NLR potentially. Slash on the back then with Gary, not looking quite close enough. We've got side by side as well between J. Cole and Verstappen, and also side by side between Wouter and Jeroen. Looks the inside line, Jeroen on the fresher compound of tyre. Tries to get the job done. J. Cole as well, side by side with Verstappen. We're just on board with these two. Can't really see because of the spray being kicked up by Jeroen. I think the Aston Martin has just got ahead, and he has indeed. Slash goes out wide as well, and Jeroen is through. He's into 9. Wouter's there in 10, and Verstappen holds off J. Cole, who's actually just got past Rocco, I think, and Rocco makes a mistake. But Sally, 3 seconds clear at the end of lap 23. Absolutely impressive again. In the end, though, hasn't pulled away as much as what he did last time.
Rick got past Alp as well, which will infuriate Alp, because he'll probably be thinking, I want to make as many places here. So yeah, but Rick has got some decent pace, so I want to see what Rocco has to do. Actually, he should have a massive advantage on those tyres, but he's not really showing it so far.
No, definitely not. Matthias looking close on the back of Slash, who goes deep in towards turn number 1. Looks for the inside line, doesn't get the job done. There was nearly a rear end contact. I think Rocco got close like a J. Cole in the background. But Sally once again, through this first sector, this is where he comes alive. 4 seconds now, the gap over Campbell once again. No safety car just yet. But Sally will not be hoping for safety car, I think, to the end of this race. He's got that gap to Campbell. Campbell has got no pace whatsoever. In fact, he hasn't even used up the ERS. 20% ERS usage for Sally, which puts him at 59% compared to Campbell. Campbell on 70%. He can use up that ERS, but to what effect? Because Campbell is not going to be going anywhere fast, I'm afraid.
No, and like I say, he's still gap in the field. It's wild pace. It's absolutely wild, but Jeroen is doing a real good job here. He's all over the back of Matt. He's done a fantastic effort from being absolutely nowhere in this race. He's going to pick up some big points as it stands. He sends it. It's going to be so hard, but he's going to get it done. Yeah, he's got it done. Fantastic effort from him. He's going to come at this rate. He could potentially come 6th, I think. Fantastic battle back.
Jeroen as well. But actually, 3 seconds worth of penalties. If he gets out of Gary, he's laughing. He is really laughing because he could be on the back of Izzat and Nürburgring towards the end of the race as well. And speaking of Matthias still, Wouter's right on the back of him, coming through 18 and then into the left-hand of 19. But Jeroen is making up really relentless progress through this field. Not pun intended there whatsoever, but Jeroen, again, just looking on the back. The FER man is coming through the field like a knife through butter at this stage. Suddenly there was 5 seconds clear. You cannot say to me, though, Mark, Jeroen is proving this as well. If he was Selly out in front, would he be doing the same thing as Selly on these compounder tyres? He looks to the inside line and Slash, and that is a late move, but it's a great move to the inside of turn number 1. Slash saw him coming, responded to that. Jeroen through, he's into 7, has got Gary in front of him. I would say by the end of lap turn 12, I think this move will be done, and Jeroen can focus on the back of Izzat.
Unbelievable pace, great pace, and I'm really intrigued for the kind of the last points paying positions. People like Alp, he's going to want to get a couple of points from this, but he's not got the pace. He's really not.
He hasn't indeed. Montana, by the way, I can confirm is not Sally out on track because he is messaging in the chat, unless he's got an AI potentially that's hacked into the game, potentially leading the way. If he was, though, he would be ghosted on a serious note. But Jeroen, on the back of Gary, is now looking to try and complete this move. This should be easy, you would imagine, down in towards turn number 12. In the end, though, Gary's got the same amount of ERS, and he's got straight line speed compared to Jeroen, and that is going to mean Jeroen is going to have to go for the move on the brakes. In the end, though, he waits, and possibly he'll try through the corners, maybe in towards turn 15 will be the next point out on track, as Rocco, Osama bin Rocco, living up to his name there, makes better contact there with J. Cole, and in the end, an Alfa Romeo sandwich nearly! Goodness me! Rocco was needing the filling in an Alfa Romeo size sandwich there, coming through the left-hander of turn number 14, now 15, as Alp gets his front wing there, bit of jostling for position with J. Cole. J. Cole now back to the inside line. It's aggressive racing, but it's fair racing as well between Alp and J. Cole. Coming to the right-hander of turn 18, is Alp on the inside line? Is he enough alongside to go for the move? J. Cole in the end, forced out wide by himself, out to the inside line. This is for the final position out on track as well. currently for the wooden spoon. They're going at it like they're fighting for the wooden spoon. Literally like Italy and France in the Six Nations. But Alp on the back of J. Cole, looking to the inside, not going to get the job done. And Alp, remember, qualified on pole position. He's down there in 15, got caught up in early contact, and J. Cole hangs on to the position for now.
What's really interesting is that these guys, they might just bat themselves out of points, because they could have had them with the penalties up ahead, but they need to latch onto the back of Rick and Rocco stat, and Rocco needs to get a move on as well. In a weird way, Rick doesn't want to battle Rocco, he wants to follow him through, because Rocco should have a natural pace. You don't want to slow him down by battling with 2 laps to go with those guys got penalties.
Yeah, definitely so. Brendan, by the way, saying Gary is carrying Ireland's hopes on his shoulders right now. No, World Youth are in the Eurovision Song Contest, and Gary is certainly a fan of World Youth. I know that for a fact. Apparently he's seen them many times in concert. I don't know what it's got anything to do with Gary losing positions out on track, but there we are. Seventh position for Gary, slashing there in 8th for Tyson Knight, and Wouter coming like an express train to the inside of turn number 12, even before he gets to turn number 12, gets the job done on Matthias. Matthias has got absolutely no speed down the straight, didn't use up any amount of VRS, and in the end, Wouter through and he's in tonight, and these are 4 positions at the end of the day. Wouter gets the job done, he's through and he's in tonight, and Rocco looking to try and get the move done on Verstappen as well, as the rain still relenting on this full wet condition, and Rocco's just going to send it to the inside line at turn 15. If he pulls this move off, this will be brilliant, but Verstappen gets the up and under, and Rocco has just been absolutely dummied there.
Yeah, Verstappen's really... Ooh, I thought Rick was going to do it, but he unfortunately couldn't carry enough pace, but... Yeah, Verstappen will be really annoyed as well, because he knows that as it stands he's not going to be in the points, even though he's currently in a points playing position because of that pen. So any battling with Rocco is just making his life harder.
You never know though, J. Cole, I think Verstappen's only on 3 seconds, yeah. He's got something to fight about, because J. Cole, 1.5 seconds, he might be there, he's basically fighting for 13th as Wouter sends a move on Slash to the inside line. Slash will try and get the job done to the inside line at turn number 2, but he gets caught on the curve and sends the car off wide, and that is Wouter through, and he's into 8th, consolidating that position. Jeroen, by the way, hasn't made as much ground as what I would have expected on those compounder tyres. He is catching his at, he's within a second now. Would be within DRS range, of course, if it is dry compounder tyres, which it isn't. It's still been full wet conditions for 28 laps of racing here in America, but Jeroen is catching his at. In the end, though, there's one man that is going to be driver of the day, I'm sure, and that is Sally. He's 8.7 seconds clear, has not looked back whatsoever. Is this just pure pad hacks, Mark, or is it just something different?
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely pad ABS. This is an ABS-friendly track, massively, because there's a lot of braking zones where you actually want to be moving into it and braking. A lot of kind of spiked hairpins here, so it doesn't surprise me, and that's only accentuated more in the wet, so it doesn't surprise me that there's an advantage to be had. Ooh, was Rick
on the brakes! On the bricks, on the brakes, tries to get the job done on Rocco. Rocco might be on hot bricks though, in towards 10-13, makes a bit of contact. Oh, he forced him completely off wide, for goodness sake. Rocco there in 12. There's one way to get a move done, and then there's Rocco's way to get a move done. He's through, and he's into 12. Rick, to be fair, on 15 apple hard, on 15 apple wet, is still trying to get the job done. But in the end, Rocco is soon he's into 12 in the way that only Rocco knows.
If Rocco and Rick end up behind anyone by a couple of attempts, schoolboy error. Should be working together. How they can't see that, I have no idea, but there we are.
The way that Rocco's very much aggressively fighting with Rick as well could let Verstappen actually get that 3 seconds, and then Verstappen could be within a point scoring position. That's what we need to factor in, I think, on this final lap. Sully, though, coming out of turn number 10, leads the way, and it has looked absolutely... I would say it's not been easy for Sully. It's been far from easy out on track, but he has absolutely dominated the second half of the race in the only way that Sully would, and it has been absolutely stunning to see. As I say, no matter what side of the argument on, no matter what assist you're on, Sally obviously on pad, on ABS, that has got a significant advantage compared to everyone on wheel. But even then, he has done what nobody really has had the absolute balls to do. Is Rick and Rocco, by the way. Speaking of balls, I think Rick's just gone down the inside of Rocco, down in towards turn number 12. I'm going to keep an eye on that on the mini-map, but Sally, coming in toward the left-hander at turn number 15, has absolutely dominated the second half of the race. And this has been very impressive. This is a performance to take note of.
Oh no! Rick's in the wall.
And was that...
No.
Yeah, I know what's happened there. Even without looking, Sally coming through... Sally coming through the
Oh.
final couple of corners. It's a disaster for Rick, but it's not for this man here. Sally to the line, wins in America by an absolute street. It's probably going to be about 7.5 seconds to the line as Campbell comes through the final corner. In the end, he's pretty much the full home straight ahead of Campbell coming across the line. If that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what will. Nathan there in third, great result from the Ferraris. Jeroen in the end is fourth. On the penalties, of course, they could get removed. Don't think they will. Yildirim there in fifth. Gary in the end is sixth. Comes out of nowhere. Rocco in the end is ninth, and Verstappen does get a point-scoring finish. He finishes in 10th.
Unbelievable. Albert got a point. Albert managed to get a point. That is incredible.
Alt did indeed get a point, and yeah, that is 28 laps of hell all over and done with in America. Even with a restart, we still finished dead on 8 o'clock, which is pretty decent, but Selly takes the race win. Mark, by the way, if you want to go for Division 4, you can.
Thank you. I'm going to bid you adieu, but that was a great race. The only one I want to just shout out there is your own, and Matt as well. The two solid drives from them. They would be my choices for some kind of drive of the day. But I will head off, and I will see you all in D4. See you later.
See you later indeed, and hopefully he does do well in Division 4, as we will get, of course, the top 3 in for interviews. We're not going to try and hang on with any longer with these interviews as necessary. Sully, by the way, did also pick up the fastest lap of the race as well, which I think just consolidates that dominance out on track. We'll get to the full grid order in just a second, but I am going to invite these guys in just to save a bit of time. I'm going to do that now. Hopefully I can get them in just off the straight of the bat. It was Sully, Campbell and Nathan, the top 3. There's Campbell. There is Nathan, and there is Sally. Beautiful. We've got the top 3 in, or we're getting the top 3 in, which is absolutely perfect. So that means we can run through the full grid order, and that is Sally, of course, out on top, the Austrian from Campbell there in second, Nathan there in third, with Jeroen in fourth, Yildirim there in fifth. Jeroen, by the way, 18th on the grid for the fourth. Deserves certainly a driver of the day vote. Yildirim in fifth, Gary in sixth, is at seventh, Matthias in eighth, Rocco there in ninth, Verstappen ran off the top 10, then J. Cole, Alb, Whiter, Slash, they were the finishers. Rick Pease, Killer, Darry, Packer and Jensen all DNFing out on track at various stages in the race, as we can now speak to the man who finished in P1, and that was Selly. And Selly, in the end, you had to really fight for that. In the end, I thought you were honestly as slow as Campbell in that first half of the stint, and then that first safety car restart happened and you pulled away by 4 seconds. What on earth happened there?
Yeah, I think in the first stint I was faster than him. But the dirty ass destroying my pace. I tell Montana, can we undercut him, can we overcut him? In the end of the day, we overcut him, and then come the safety car, and this changed all, I think, because I know that my pace in the rain was a little bit faster than from Campbell, but yeah, in the end of the day, it is a win, and it's a very important win for the championship and for the constructors because of Jensen's DNF, so I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, fantastic drive from you. As I say, second half of the race was just different world, honestly. Campbell, as I say, was right there. You were literally on the back. I think you tried 3 times in towards turn number 1, up the inside line. Every single time, Campbell combated that somehow, got the move done. So what was it like racing 1-to-1 with Campbell at the part you were? Because it looked pretty good from what we were watching.
Yeah, he was so strong in the exits. That I have to dive him. Sorry for that, Campbell, especially for turn 1. I think one time I drove into his car, that was not so great. But yeah, it was great battles. It was really a lot of fun to drive with him. But I think I have a collision with Alp. I don't know, in the first round. I think he's understeer my car, but I have to watch it, so sorry for Alp, for the collision. And yeah.
Yeah, I was on board with that actually from your perspective, and it looked like you gave him a lot more room than what Alp was leading onto, and Alp, I think, just got forced on the inside line of turn 16. There's a little bump there, and I think the car's been thrown off centre, and it's been basically thrown into the side of yours, and then you've just caught him.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, congratulations to the Ferraris. Always quick on track. So yeah, see you next week.
See you next week indeed, and a big thank you of course to Sally for joining us for the interview tonight, and we can move on to the man who in the end finished in P2 and was on the other side of that battle. It was Mr. Kiwior Campbell, and Campbell, so near yet so far once again this week. You came up against another godly driver in Sally. Talk us through, because it looked like you had the pace first half.
Fuck the safety car is all I've got to say to you. I feel like I could have had it won without the safety car. Of course it'd be difficult, but track position's so good in the wet. I could have had it, but no, it wasn't to be.
Yeah, it wasn't to be, but in the end, you had to put up a real gallant fight, I think, in terms of the second half. Sally was just different world in terms of obvious hacks, in terms of ABS being on, and obviously pad hacks as well around this track in the wet. That just forced out a bit of extra traction, and in the end, you must have honestly been wondering, at the end of that first safety car restart, you must have been thinking, how the hell has he gained 4 seconds on me?
Yeah, I mean, a lot my tyres went well with the restart, and I kind of got caught sleeping, and also I hit the limiter when Silly went. I don't know why, because he could go and I could. So I hit like the speed limit of the game controls you're under on the restart. So that's why it was like it was 1.5 seconds before we hit the start finish line, which is weird. But I knew I wasn't going to stick within his penalty range after the first restart, just because I knew he was much quicker and I had to be ahead to have a chance at winning, which would have been to fight for my life as I did the entire first stint, and just hope that I could keep him off the entire second stint. But yeah.
Yeah, and you do consolidate those second position in the championship as well, obviously with another second place here in Monaco. First of all, you must be getting sick of seeing the NSX boys right in front of you, probably thinking you'd rather have them in your rear mirror, as opposed to being completely in front of you, just shooting up the road. And then second of all, of course, next week we do go to, and I'm just trying to find the calendar once again, it is Canada. We go to the other side of North America, of course, in Canada next week. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
It should go well, and hopefully Silly's a bit worse there next week. And he said before, I know it's his worst track, but I know Japan he said was one of his worst, and we'll see what happens there. So I don't know what to think of it. I'll come up, give it my best, and probably still finish second, no matter what happens in the race. So I don't know what more I can do. It seems like.
Yeah, consistency though is key. It has won championships in the past, and obviously we've still got a long way to go in the season. So don't let that down. Don't let that get you down whatsoever. There's still plenty of races to go in the season. I think we've still got over half the calendar left still to go. So, with that regards, go and enjoy your evening.
I'll try. Thank you.
You are very welcome indeed, and we can now speak to the man who finished in third and always seems to do well around this track, supposedly. Of course, it is Mr. Nathan, and Nathan, in the end, P3 out on track, solid point score haul for the Ferraris. You must be happy.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw the rain, I kind of died inside, because I despise rain on this game. And yeah, obviously, change the setup in quali meant nothing in the end because we restarted. But yeah, it was a bit of an interesting race with a few dive bombs and contact. But yeah, apart from that, overall, I mean, can't really complain with a P3 in the rain.
Yeah, definitely. So, back to what I mentioned about with Sally as well, with that contact with Alp. It looked like you got a little bit of front wing damage from that. Certainly on the camera shot that I was on board with, it certainly looked like you got damage. Did you get any damage as a result of that? Was it just pure, like, ghosting through?
Well, I thought he was obviously going to ghost, and he didn't. It probably, because for some reason, like, if you hold the brake, like, it just doesn't ghost you, even if you're, like, backwards or sideways. So, obviously he was trying to catch the car, and yeah, I just tried to avoid it, but yeah, no, I actually didn't pick up damage somehow, like, even though I hit his rear wing, but yeah, no, I checked like multiple times and like didn't pick up any damage from it.
Yeah, which is remarkable. I think Alp said in the comment section as well, he picked up side and floor damage potentially as a result of that incident as well. So it just comes to show that Codemasters, first of all, need to fix the coding in the game, and second of all, I think they need a better contact system, which I think really, really speaks volumes. But as I say, second and third for Ferrari, again going into next week in Canada. Is that one of your strongest tracks? You have seemed to have a love and hate relationship around there.
I'll be lucky not to get disqualified, honestly. I've not somehow not picked up a penalty this season. I've had 2 warnings on each track, but yeah, Canada's going to end that streak. My sole goal is to make sure that my lovely teammate finishes on the podium ahead of the Mercedes, because somehow we're still in the constructors' fight, even though we've had horrendous races. But yeah, so yeah, my goal is to keep it out of a wall, which probably won't happen. But yeah, the rest of the season, I am the Minister of Defence, which is very cringe. But yeah, yeah, no, we're just there for the ride and trying to get this little Scotsman to somewhere high.
Well, if you're the Minister of Defence, he's surely got to be the Foreign Secretary, I think, in terms of him being, of course, in second. But Nathan, third place tonight. Go and enjoy Eben.
Thank you, you and Mark. Mark was here as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, Mark was here. He's sodded off to Division 4.
Oh, well, hopefully he does all right. Yeah, thank you both for comms anyway.
You are very welcome indeed. And that rounds us up very neatly indeed, of course, for Division 1 tonight for Liga Europe. Division 2 and Division 4 are live now as I speak to you right now. So they're going to be up either with the streams just starting or, in fact, they're both live. So you can go and watch that, of course, when we finish here. Of course, it is Canada next week. It should be good in terms of overtaking. Possibly a bit of slipstream in qualifying as well. Wink, wink at the Ferraris there, certainly in qualifying, to gain an extra 3.5 tenths per second in terms of a lap time. That might just happen in qualifying. And of course, we look forward, hopefully, for the first time this season to see Selly versus Slippery Cucumber out on track. That'll be an interesting battle, and I'm all for it. But we are going to end it off here. Division 2 and Division 4, as I say, are live right now. J. Colin Killer taking to the Division 2, Packer and Verstappen doing Division 4. I'm going to end it off here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.